Good morning to everyone. My name is Dr. Javier Perez Garcia, and I am a postdoctoral scholar at Stanford University. I am excited to welcome you to this journal club, sponsored by the section of Genetics and Genomics of the American Thoracic Society, on the paper Long-Term PM2.5 Exposure and Upregulation of CLCA1 Expression in Nasal Epithelium from Youth with Asthma, published in Annals of the American Thoracic Society in June of 2025. Please note that this journal club is being recorded and will be posted on the ATS website. So presenting the article today is the first author of the study, Dr. Francisca Roser. She's a pediatric pulmonologist at UPMC Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh and an assistant professor of pediatrics within the Division of Pulmonology at the University of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. Her research is focused on respiratory pediatric diseases, especially childhood asthma and air pollution, through the analysis of multiomic data such as transcriptomics. Over the course of her career, she has also been recognized with several honors. Recently, she was inducted in the Society for Pediatric Research. In 2022, she became a fellow of the ATS, and the same year, she received the UPMC Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh Asthma Champion Award. Early in 2015, she was inducted into the Omicron chapter of the Delta Omega National Honor Society in Public Health. Joining us as panelists today are Dr. Andrés Cárdenas, Assistant Professor in the Department of Epidemiology and Population Health at Stanford University in California, and his lab is focused on epidemiological studies to investigate the impact of the environment on the epigenome and its contribution to health and disease development, including respiratory diseases. Dr. Max Seibel, professor in the Department of Pediatrics and the National Jewish Health in Colorado, and his lab is focused on studying the genetics of respiratory diseases by identifying genetic biomarkers, characterizing dysregulated molecular functions, and conducting genome editing mechanistic studies. And the senior author of the paper, Dr. Juan Celedón, Niels K. Jern Professor of Pediatrics and Medicine at the University of Pittsburgh, and Division Chief of Pulmonary Medicine at UPMC in Pennsylvania. His group aims to identify genetic and environmental determinants of airway diseases, particularly in minoritized population. His work in the field was recognized in the last ATS conference since he was selected as the 2025 J. Burns Anderson Lecturer. So we would like to express our gratitude to the presenter and all the panelists for accepting our invitation to participate in this journal club. And we will start the session with a presentation of the article by Dr. Roser for around 30 minutes, and then move to a question and answer discussion with our panelists for the last 20 minutes. If you are joining us online and would like to pose a question, please type it into the Q&A feature of the webinar interface, and we will present it to our panelists following the discussion. So now I would like to hand the floor over to Dr. Roser, and again, thank you very much for being here today.
Oh, well, thank you very much for the very kind invitation. I also want to thank Dr. Cardenas, Dr. Siebold, and Dr. Celedon for being panelists and moderators today. So disclosures, I don't have any. My current research funding comes from the NIEHS and Breathe Pennsylvania, of which I am extraordinarily grateful for. The work that I'm presenting today was funded by a KO8 award from the NHLBI, and I have received past funding from the ATS Foundation. So a lot of presentations start off with background, and I'm going to talk about background, but I wanted to start off with my why. Why am I even interested in this? What is my why? What do I hope to accomplish in my career? So my wish list, what I wish I had as a pediatric pulmonologist, is some way that I could have an easily obtained clinical biomarker that identifies which of my patients, so kids with asthma, are most susceptible to outdoor air pollution. Because if I had this, then I could start figuring out what are the best therapies. Does standard asthma therapy work the same for kids who are more susceptible for air pollution? Do they need different interventions? And my wish list really comes from the background. We know that fine particle pollution exposure is bad for kids. And this is actually a little bit of an understatement. It's bad for everybody. No one should be around it. But it's particularly bad for children who are in different immunological respiratory developing stages.